Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call. Happy Memorial Day. For Monday, May 26, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call this Wednesday night after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about a few things about the monetary system that's getting ready to change. Question comes up quite a bit. If we are all, we're all these powerful beings inside these bodies, how come not more of us are manifesting what we want? It's pretty ironic that more people aren't accessing it because in this very now moment, many of us are stuck in jobs we don't like, relationships that we lose energy battling with every day. And we are either having some sort of food, drug, alcohol, or sex addiction that is taking priority over any real deep spiritual devotion and exploration. The basic reason for all human suffering here is simple. The mind keeps focusing on what we don't want, and thus keeps manifesting more of the same. New thoughts rarely have space to form. And after 70 or 80 so years, the human being has wasted all its precious energy on magnetizing on what it doesn't want and doesn't have. See, that's it in a nutshell. Knowing this is tremendously powerful. It isn't a judgment. It is a perception. It is a comprehension. For us to know what we're doing so that we can determine for ourselves to decide, do we want to change that? Do we want to shift that direction with ourselves so that let's say we're aligned, okay, with the universe. And we no longer focus on what we don't want. And I talk about this a lot because it is so prevalent and it is so disruptive to this species on this planet Earth. It's very disruptive. When you have that kind of power of who and what you really are in that body, the body is the conduit. See, it's like I've said, we don't manifest when we're in our natural state of being. Okay? We don't manifest. We don't need to. We don't need all this stuff, see? As the gods that we are, we don't need any of it. It's just an experience that we create for ourselves. So while we're in these bodies, we are supremely powerful, manifesting beings, and manifesting abundant beings that never die. And the only reason we're not always manifesting everything that we want is because we cannot keep our mind focused long enough on feeling that we are receiving the one thing we truly desire to have. It's that simple. What do you think our attention span is? Average across the planet. If you're watching something, you're seeing something, you're listening to something, someone's saying something. What would you believe that your, on average, okay, obviously there's always exceptions. How long do you think your focus is for? 8 seconds. That's it. Okay. Now some would say, well, I focus on something a lot longer than that. Usually it's what you don't want is why you're so focused on it, because you have the fear base connected to the ego mind. Once, in each of us, right now in this very now moment, it's up to us to reprogram. You could call it retraining, recycling, however you want to label it, that retrain the brain to stay focused, fiercely, deeply, and resolutely focused then, only then, we will become the manifesting masters of our world. It's like when we practice this meditation, we get a comfortable place. We have no outside distractions. We relax into our bodies. We're still as a statue, and we focus on our natural breath rising and falling. That's the meditation. And we're in silence. When we practice this meditation, the reason we've been doing it for so long, for 365 days a year, going on 8 years, we will one day attain mastery over our mind and actually reach a state of physical mastery over our physical world. You want to know what 5D is? That is 5D. It's not that complicated at all. But we're not going to get there by relying or depending on an outside force that is being explained to people on this planet, that everything will be done for you, it'll be a cakewalk, and it's just going to be this big flash or whatever, or a code frequency that will be activated and everything is set. You don't have to lift a finger. Now, think about this. In this life, if you never did anything, and everybody did it for you, year after year after year, I have met people who never, ever did laundry. They never washed their clothes. Someone else did it. And who had clothes that if the clothes became soiled, they would throw them away. They never worked a day in their life, so they didn't know comparison, see. They had no idea. They never did anything laborious, ever. When you have a conversation with someone in that atmosphere, you're kind of like, you got to be kidding. This has got to be a joke, right? Because all of us have done certain things, right? It's not a negative. We learn. We experience. We may not embrace it all the way and say to ourselves, no, this is not one of my favorite things to do. But I do it because I'm the only one here, so I will do it. See, kind of like this way, like Osho states it. Right now, the master is fast asleep. And the mind, the servant, is playing the role of the master. And the servant is created by the outside world. It follows the outside world and its laws. Once your awareness becomes a flame, it burns up the whole slavery that the mind has created. There is no blissfulness more precious than freedom, than being a master of your own destiny. Couldn't have been put any better. Now, when it comes down to life-mind mastery within this great mystery, it is all about discovering the source of pure awareness inside of us. This is that simple, obvious awareness that is always watching, listening, and experiencing everything in our life all the time. It is the light behind the movie screen of your mind, responsible for projecting the entire picture onto everything that you feel, sense, and see. It is responsible for shining the light on every single thought and feeling that you have about anything. It's always the source of what your experience is in every moment of your existence. See, we don't give awareness enough credit. We rarely recognize that it's there, and hardly ever take the time to sit down with it and relax into the source of it. The reason we take awareness for granted is because it is ever present, always here now, just like the air you're breathing. Yet think about it. What if awareness wasn't present anymore? What would happen to our lives? Who would we be without awareness? Who would exist if there were nobody to be aware of our existence anymore? These are some deep thoughts to contemplate. Yet when we do take the time to explore them, something magical occurs. We start becoming more in touch with this divine state of awareness. Whatever we focus on is what we experience more of, and eventually manifest into physical action and form. And whatever we meditate on results in who we are going to become tonight and tomorrow morning. As we become more aware of the infinite spiritual source of awareness inside, we become more connected with what's totally in charge of what we're magnetizing. We can see each thought fly by and see exactly how each one is attracting, creating, and designing how our entire lives unfold and manifest. It is only when we become conscious of this perfect, divine play manifesting inside us and all around us that we stop fighting ourselves, each other, beating our heads against our inner emotional prison walls. And when we stop pushing up against life and start appreciating that everything is an aspect of the great sacred mystery, we start resonating at a higher level of consciousness. We begin feeling more expansive when we wake up in the morning and greet the day with a childlike curiosity, creativity, and wonder. We do this because at the source of pure awareness, it's easy to realize there truly are no actual prisons in this infinite quantum field of intelligent energy. Prisons are only limiting aspects of our highly creative imaginations. If you name me, you negate me. Kierkegaard. See, you hear me say a lot, we are not our names. None of us are our names. We are nameless. What are we called? The beings we are. You want to call it something, it's a God. It's a pure consciousness. It is an omnipotently power. Omnipotently. It is immeasurable. And it is forever. It is found that on a karmic level, every being has a unique inner emotional prison. Every being. And this is part of their unique soul's destiny. Every human came here to release the lie their soul was fed. They came to re-experience the feelings of being confused, rejected, abandoned, hated, suppressed, depressed, and stuck in order to transcend them all. This you heard me talk about. We don't have a comparison. Then we've got issues. If we can't compare things, we aren't going to know. We aren't going to experience. It's like the difference between hot and cold, day and night. We've got to experience these things. That's what we come here to do. Then we transcend them all. We needed to step harder on the thorn hiding in our shoe in order to stop hiking up this great mountain and remove it with love. At some point, every day, we each run into some feeling of being stuck, blocked, or challenged by something or someone. We feel limited, small, powerless, or suppressed from our full expression. Every human mind already has the program installed to throw itself into some emotional dumpster repeatedly. And in this now moment, there are literally billions doing this. Now, there are many little thorns hiding in our shoes that we are unaware of. Thus, something terrible happens in the outer world. We get dumped by a lover. We end up trashing our self-esteem, our love for life, our feeling of being empowered, falling into some treacherous feeling of being locked up in an emotional prison we cannot escape from. All of this thorny karma we carry may sound terribly depressing. Yet it's good to remember that this universe is more loving, mysterious, and intelligent than we could ever imagine. There is a very beautiful, yet unobvious reason why this divinely intelligent, deeply eternal loving universe has set life up to throw each and every one of us through experiences of emotional pain, agony, and suffering. The reason is so that we stop everything we are doing and become deeply inspired to evolve in a spiritual dimension. The spiritual path is the only way we can remove all of our thorns and break out of our thick mental and emotional prisons. The only problem, challenge, that the mind tends to get lazy and wrapped up in old habit and would never search for the keys to our spiritual freedom unless we felt deeply trapped, imprisoned, or stuck. And it loves to create these emotional prison cells in the brain. As each one provides new fuel to blast off into a new experience of creativity, growth, evolution, movement, and eventually reach total liberation. So we all have these wonderfully perfect, prickly prisons constructed inside us. Each one is destined to create a deep yearning and desire to be free. Each one is, you can reject this idea, ignore it, or accept it. Notice what happens inside your body either way. This search for freedom is as much our destiny as the prisons we've placed ourselves in. There are no real enemies in this world. There are only imaginary shadows. The thorns in our shoes can be removed once we realize they are also created by our own imagination. We must choose to move beyond the mind, through the unconscious, righteous mind that believes it is aware, yet is truly ignorant and not worshiping the great mystery 24 hours a day. It is this ignorance that is our only real enemy, the mind that is deeply stuck in thought, in ego, and will only strive to create something new when some form of horrific pain, fear, or slavery begins bubbling up inside. The mind is imagining everything that you're experiencing right now. It is believing that your thoughts, beliefs, and all your limitations are real. It is entertaining the feeling that being financially stuck is real, which it isn't. Or that your relationships are never going to improve. Or you'll always live in the same house forever. It has this idea that whatever challenging life experience you're having right now just may be that way forever. The sensations of emotional imprisonment sure do feel real, don't they? Yet when we step back from them, we see they are just a conglomeration of negative thoughts. And when we step back from the mind with awareness, we can understand, comprehend that we are the ones who have thrown ourselves into jail with our imagination. And from this awareness, then we can step out of jail just with using our sweet, simple, yet all-powerful imagination. One who knows the self has nothing more to do, nor has he any more thoughts. From then on, the infinite power will carry out all further actions that may be necessary for him. Ramana Maharishi. To acquire an out-of-jail pass, so to speak, we must choose to gift it to ourselves. Choose to accept that everything and everyone in this life is a part of this deep, holographic, wonderful, infinite mystery. In this acceptance, we stop feeling limited. We see how our imagination is co-creating everything, designing this entire thing we deem as a reality. Then and only then can we comprehend what it takes to be free. By knowing what is creating thought, we stop believing in all of its fantasies. We realize that any potential feeling of slavery is a choice from here on out. We understand that we always have the free will and choice and how we wish to interact and engage with any thought that enters the mind. We can keep it like a winning lottery ticket or toss it away like a used banana peel. My invitation right now for you is to not hold on to any beliefs that show up about yourself, others, and this life. Choose the mystery over certainty, just because it's more exciting. It's simply more interesting to not know than to know. When you're living within the mystery 24 hours a day, you suddenly find yourself becoming spontaneous, free from hesitation, doubt, and barely have any fear. It requires all the courage you have to keep choosing the mystery over the normal way of being human. Yet, you're much more likely to experience your fears as some weird bubbling state of excitement than something you run from. You might even see your life as this wild, passionate birthing of random desires to engage and disengage from. Ultimately, it is a mystery. Last. So why not start embracing it now? When we embrace the mystery as a way of living life, the mysterious way keeps us truly alive. We start abiding in a state of wonder and deep curiosity about everything. We stop defining who we are and start realizing that truly we are actually indefinable. We start seeing amazing, intelligent energy is here now. directly in front of your eyes. Give love and deep, eternal acceptance to those you encounter, and notice what happens. This, I shared with you a bit of the actual vibrational frequency of 5D. It is any of our decisions to begin to lay the groundwork for ourselves, increase our vibrational frequencies. I just laid it out knowingly, with great awareness. This is a massive spiritual evolution for humanity, for this civilization, the species, mankind, humanity. It isn't about financial gain. It isn't about having, because when this spiritual evolution, you move into a knowing that you can manifest anything you want. You have the power right now, every one of us do. It's just accessing it. And we've got to reprogram ourselves and dump everything that we've been told to be true. Not easy. There's a lot of courage involved with that. Fear, without fear, we wouldn't have the courage to do this. Fear is paramount to have, because fear then moves us to courage. You talk to people in military arms throughout the ages, and you ask them, okay, so you had this situation. How are you feeling? And everyone said, I was scared to death. I was shaking in my boots, but I knew that I had to save those men. In fact, it brought me much higher, and the courage came out and overrode the fear. Fear dissipated completely, and so I saved their lives. I got shot a couple times. That's okay. And this is what some of us on this planet are experiencing, is that we're making a leap of faith into a spiritual awareness of who and what we are. And we're leaving the ego mind of 3D frequencied Earth. And it's because of the awareness. It's not random, reckless, or bumping into it. We know what we're doing. We feel it. We don't think it. We feel it. And we have, all of us are already outfitted with it. Not one of us do not have it. And it just depends on when we choose to move with it, embrace it. Moving ourselves out of creating things we do not want is paramount. Because what would happen that, let's say, the majority of us, if not all of us, made that switch, transcended the ego mind, know who and what we are as far as God's and material physical body, pure consciousness, however you want to label it. Pure cosmic source, which is all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. How do you think, where would we be? We would be on a planet that was 5D. Why? Because we created it. We don't worry, we don't stress, we don't fear. See, we've been taught that that's forever. That's part of this life. That any lifetime that you have, you're going to have this. It just goes with it. When you go through ascension and transcendence, you're looking at the fact that you're saying, I no longer care to practice that. I believe that, and the way you know that is because you know that you master your ego mind. You know that you're not in it. You know how it operates. And you knew that through meditation. And as your ego mind begins to follow you, and you not it, you begin to master your thoughts and the ego mind. You elevate yourself out of that kind of being. You no longer participate in it. You move into meditation. You're in heart mind. You watch it. It's not ridicule or judgment. You're in heart mind. You watch it so that you know how it operates, what it does. Then you realize that whenever it kicks in, you can say, stop, ego mind, you are not in charge. You might have to say it at times 30 times before the ego mind subsides. And you're not angry. Not at all. Very loving. You don't care to be the slave of the ego mind anymore. That's it. It was designed to be your servant, not your master. And this is why this planet has been in so disarray for so very, very, very long. Because the majority of us on this planet, in this very now moment, are mastered by their ego minds. Don't have enough, have to have more. Got to have this, got to have that, got to get this, got to get that. Never satisfied. That's the ego mind. This is why so many of us emulate the ego mind. Insecure, worried, stressed, fearful. That's the ego mind. Heart mind is the opposite. Ego mind worrying about what other people think, worrying about what people feel, all of this stuff. That's ego mind. Heart mind is, it doesn't register with you. You're not concerned about what other people think, say, or do. You really aren't. And it's not surface, it's not faking it. Some people try to fake it. Oh, no, it doesn't bother me. So, it's knowing this and having the awareness, going to deep awareness, keeping your childlike curiosity front and center. And when you have things come in, your childlike curiosity kicks in. You're curious. You don't run from your fears. You go, why am I having this? This is interesting. Why am I having this fear? Why am I having this anxiety? I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take a slow and easy breath in through the nose, and a slow and easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Within your heart, there is a spiritual light that is much bigger and more amazing than what you've ever been told. When it's switched on, you feel like your smile can easily outshine the biggest sun. This inner light is so bright and beautiful that it's the same frequency as an ascended master. Don't worry. People won't need sunglasses to hang out with you. This amazing light is turned on by perpetually paying attention to the infinite love that exists inside your beautiful heart. To stop looking for your spiritual signal out there. This enlightening vibe is always available within, as it's connected with the highest spiritual bandwidth that there ever is. The greatest journey is always diving within, and the best thing is no internet is required. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here Tuesday, May 27, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening outside of you or inside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.